Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to stop your garden smelling of dog pee. So I've got 3 dogs, as you can see, and so sometimes my garden can get a bit smelly, and so I'm just going to show you what I do to stop that from happening. So if you watched my last video, you saw I showed you all around my garden, and one of the things about my garden is that it's all hard standing, and so the problem with that is that it can get a bit smelly with the dogs going to toilet, and so I'm just going to show you what I do to stop that from happening. So it's really quite straightforward. I just have a hose pipe and disinfectant, any disinfectant. I'm using this one at the moment because it comes in nice fragrances, and I normally use a concentrated one, and I just sprinkle it all around the garden and then hose it down. Now something that I sometimes do is if it's not too bad, but maybe one of them is just like Humps really likes to pee right by this back door, and that's not ideal with us coming in and out. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just fill the watering can up with some water, sometimes pop a little bit of washing up liquid in it, and then just pour that over the spot. Sometimes I'll do that, but that often isn't enough. I'll have to actually sprinkle the disinfectant around the garden. So as you can see, we've got Rosie here wandering around, so I'll put her indoors. The dogs all get out of the way as soon as I start to do this because they don't want to get wet, but you should have them indoors anyway because the disinfectant on their paws wouldn't be ideal. And I literally just sprinkle it around, and so if I've got any problem areas, like this is a problem area, and I just sprinkle it around places where I know they pee up. Like I know they pee up this bit here, so I just sprinkle it round. Something else that I do is they pee up to, this is my sofa plant area, and they pee up here, which is fine because it doesn't damage the plants, but I just put that along there, and it means I can hose all up there, and that cleans all of that off. And just areas where I know that they pee, like I know they pee up here a lot, and I just scatter it around. So this fragrance is cotton, and for some reason some of the fragrances are really lovely, and it's like a nice kind of, they linger nicely. But there's another one they do, lavender, and it stinks the whole neighbourhood out, and nothing I do would get rid of it. So I don't use lavender anymore, but cotton and linen fresh, anything like that, it's not too harsh, not too decent. I mean, you can just use straight like pine disinfectant, but the smell can be a bit strong if you do that. But this kind of stuff, I love it. But I'll just use whatever I've got. Sometimes I'll just use washing up liquid, but I find that isn't actually strong enough to properly get rid of the smell. And sometimes I find even if it's rained, it isn't strong enough to get rid of this. It's not enough to get rid of the smell. It does take the disinfectant. Okay, I've hosed it all down, as you can see. Like I said, get the dogs indoors because the disinfectant, even though it's all washed down, diluted, you don't want that on their paws. So a dog's indoors while it dries up. If it's a sunny day, it dries up really quickly, and then they can come back out, but just while it's still wet. And also, you never know, they might, like there's a little puddle of it there, they might drink it. So I just put all the dogs indoors while I do that, and then they can come out when it's dried up. But then that works lovely, and then the smell's all taken away. And because where we live, we've got neighbours all around us, and so, you know, not that I would want to live in a smelly garden anyway, but you just got to be respectful, and so that's what I do. And then like now you can smell the disinfectant, but it's not like that overwhelming disinfectant smell. It's quite a nice sort of cotton fresh smell. So that's what I tend to use. Last year we had a hosepipe ban, and I was a bit bothered about how that was going to work because it obviously didn't rain like for ages, but I managed just with a bucket and just putting a tiny little bit of disinfectant in, and then I just kept, every time I saw them go to toilet, I would just wash it down with a bucket of water, and I got through the whole summer just fine doing that. There weren't any problems with that, and I used to just put the bucket in the shower with me, and then bring the buckets down, and then use those buckets just to wash where they go, because you tend to find dogs will keep going in the same place, so you can get a good idea of where they've been, and then you know that's where you can just put your bucket of water. Because if you haven't got a hose pipe, you don't want to go and buy one just for this. Although I will say, if it's a problem, then it is very effective and worth doing. But You know, you can manage with a bucket of water and disinfectant. Like I said, you can use washing up liquid, but I find it's just not as good. You don't really properly get rid of the smell. And if you've got grass, you wouldn't think it would smell, but sometimes it can. And then what I would do, I mean, I don't have grass in this house, but in past houses I have, and I've just hosed it down, and that seems to be okay. You seem to get away with that. Luckily this year we have had the wettest. Last year we had the hottest summer on record. It was like 40 degrees, absolutely ridiculous it was. For the UK, we're just not used to that. We're not prepared for it, we're not ready for it. But this summer it's just rained and rained and rained and been quite cool, so you know, it has helped out no end. But obviously you people are all over the world, and you're all going to have very different weather conditions, but that is what I do, and that keeps this situation from not smelling. If I just left it and didn't do that, I think the smell of dog pee coming out my garden would be quite overwhelming, and I don't want to live like that, and it's not fair on my neighbours. So that's what I do, and I do that. It really depends on the weather. If it's really dry, though, I probably do that once, sometimes twice a week. And if it's raining, sometimes, I mean, I haven't done that maybe for about 3 weeks, simply because it's just rained so much, so I haven't had to. But you just kind of, you'll know when you walk through your garden, if you can smell it a bit, then you need to get it done. So that's that. All the lovely pleasantries of owning dogs, eh? Anyway, so thanks very much for watching. You know where I am if you need me, all the socials, and don't forget, bring your questions in. I'm more than happy to help. I love helping you. I really enjoying the conversations that I'm having with you and being able to help your dogs. We've got Humps here. He's up on the steps. He stays well out of the way, so I know he won't come down into the disinfected area. So that's it then. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.